Channel, your hurricane authority.
This is video sent to us from weather warrior Bob and Chris Slager from Rancho Viejo here in South Texas. You can hear the wind and seeing it, wow. Winds gusting 40, 50, 60, 76 miles per hour is the highest wind gust thus far as Hurricane Dolly makes landfall this afternoon, September, make that July 23rd, 2008. I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but this has been a very active season so far, Vivian. We've already gotten to the D storm, and it's July. It's July. And the heart of the season doesn't really begin until middle of August.
So that's not good news.
That's not good news if we get hit like this one. You know, Brownsville, Texas has really taken a hit. The rain continues to come down, and we've got a reporter there.
That's right. We have our very own Mike Bettis. He's there standing by in the Brownsville area. Mike, give us the very latest. Now, we've had reports that winds earlier were gusting up to about 67 miles an hour. It doesn't look as windy right now, but you're still quite wet.
Yeah, absolutely true. You know, the winds have died down just a little bit. We haven't had the wind gusts in the last hour over 60, now down to about 57. But the sustained winds have come up just a little bit to about 44. But the rain has picked up in intensity. Now total day accumulation as far as rain goes over 3.5 inches here in Brownsville. Although at times we were getting some pretty decent gusts there and some pieces of debris now littering the streets, some signs that have come off buildings and what have you. And really at times we're getting torrents of rain that just sheet down on us, and so you get these sheets of rain that are just very, very heavy, and they'll come in for 5 or 10 minutes at a time. It'll let up just a little bit, but then it'll gust, and the winds will really howl for, again, just a short period of time, and then maybe they'll let up. So this cycle that we go through is almost constant here in Brownsville at this point, but we do anticipate that slowly we're going to see our conditions improve. This is a very slow-moving storm system, and so it means we're going to be in this for a prolonged period of time. It's just not coming through and exiting very quickly, especially when that forward speed is just in the single digits, around 7 miles per hour or so. The saving grace maybe for Brownsville may have been, as far as wind damage goes, that the eye itself skirted us just a little bit, just to the north, that may have spared us from some of the highest winds. We haven't seen, in many places, winds gusting to hurricane force. In Harlingen, we had a 74-mile-per-hour wind gust. In Brownsville, our highest gust has been 67. Talking to a police officer not 10 minutes ago, asked him, you know, what he's seen, because he's been doing patrols all around Brownsville. He said, well, you know, we have a few more trees down now than maybe we had 2 or 3 hours ago. He said, but for the most part, haven't seen a lot of really bad stuff. Not a lot of structural damage to buildings at all. It's been mostly trees and just trees in streets. Not a lot of trees on buildings, not a lot of trees in homes or cars. So he actually thought that we were doing better than he anticipated. So that's good to hear from the police officers here that are doing constant patrols, that they think we're doing pretty well here. Now, flooding, I want to mention that because we do have some standing water in the streets here. But again, it's not that bad. It's just a couple of inches. And if the rain can let up at all, this may actually drain away as well. Not nearly as bad at this point as we thought it might be. However, if you get caught in some of the heavier bands, which we have seen, we are going to be looking for the possibility of some flash flooding. We have flash flood warnings, so that is something that we're going to follow, especially with some of the heavier bands. All right, let's take you over to South Padre, where South Padre Island has really gotten hammered throughout the day today. Jim Cantore is there. Jim, what can you tell us is the latest there at South Padre?
Mike, appreciate the long day, buddy. I know it's been just an absolute nonstop for you, because when one crew goes down, the other one's got to pick us up. So we really appreciate that over here, but it hasn't been without warrant, I'll tell you that. You're looking outside one of the rooms here, and this big thing is not an awning, ladies and gentlemen. It is actually a piece of the roof which has been blown off and through here. And just look at this hallway, just littered with some of the insulation, some of the aluminum fascia board in through here, and just a mess of debris from some of the leaves. Now that's looking that way. Obviously we're going to give you a better shot here as we get time, but we just got back online, which is just great. Some great work just about by everybody here. I want to show you what's going on out here. Of course, we mentioned earlier on one of the phone reports where some of the roofing was being blown out into the ocean, and you can just see all of it littered out and through here. And this is just an example, a few items, if you will, of some of the debris that we have around here. And these are huge chunks of roofing that have been blown on off. And several of the rooms have leaked. We just watched a couple that have actually been taken out of their room because the water was just just pouring in there, and this is just going to continue to be the case. Don, let's go ahead and show everybody, if we can, here down here, some of these big chunks of debris. You can certainly see how the water has come all the way up here. Winds blowing offshore now, and obviously not strong enough to completely lose the signal, but we may fade out from time to time. The good news is, with the storm moving and jogging just to our north, we did not get the surge component, all right? We did get the wave action, so that beat up the coast a little bit, but I think it's going to survive pretty well. The biggest problem has been the wind, obviously, and the rainfall, especially when you start peeling back the roof. But the power is out. It's out just about everywhere and through here, and until those winds get below 45 miles an hour, the power crews that are stationed on the other side of the Causeway Bridge will not be allowed to come over here and restore power. And with the slow, laborious movement that this storm, the crawl, if you will, that it's going at, it's going to be pretty much a long night, I think, for a lot of folks. It'll be interesting to pose the question.